Assalomu alaykum hammaga. Demak, internetda keng dars o'qishga kelibsiz. Bugun darsimizda sizlar bilan ajoyib reading sahifamizni va shu bilan bir qator grammatikani ko'rib chiqamiz. Alright, today's topic is about newspaper. Xo'p, bugungi mavzuyimiz demak newspapers haqida, ya'ni gazetalar yoki yangiliklar. News and newspapers. Alright. Before we start, I want to ask a few questions about you. Xo'p, boshlashimiz oldin men sizlardan savol so'ramoqchiman. Demak, hech gazeta o'qiganmisiz yoki kunlik gazeta o'qib turasizmi? Have you ever read a newspaper or do you read a newspaper daily? So, agar yangiliklarga qiziqsangiz, demak, qanaqa yangiliklarga qiziqasiz? Internationalmi, ya'ni xalqaromi yoki national yoki milliymi yoki local yoki mahalliy yangiliklargami? For example, I like reading newspaper and I'm really interested in news. So I read newspaper every single day in the morning. Demak, men newspaperda, ya'ni gazetani har kuni o'qiyman va har kuni ertalabda o'qib turaman degan misol berishingiz mumkin bo'ladi. Xo'p, bugun esa sizlar bilan demak newspaperning tarixiga demak ozgincha demak qarab o'tamiz. Xo'p, do you know about the newspaper's history? If you don't know, let's get it to know together, all right? Xo'p, demak o'qishni boshlaymiz. Hold the front page. Right, the 2000 years ago, there were no newspaper. When something important happened, the people told each other about it. The news traveled slowly. Sometimes it was weeks before the people heard about the battle of the death of the king. More than 2000 years ago, the Chinese government wrote the news on silk. It was nervous news about what the government was doing, and it didn't tell about the people or the things what were happening. 400 years ago, the first newspaper appeared in Germany and it was printing every week. It took a long time to print all the copies. Davam etamiz. 200 years ago, the new printing press could print much more quickly and newspapers were sold on the streets every day. And nowadays, in today's like modern society, now we have newspaper in the morning, in the evening, and every day of the week, and millions of papers are sold all over the world. Some newspapers have lots of pages and sometimes there is a separate magazine inside it too. Reporters go to the sense of the news story and find out what happened. They write about it and photographers takes a picture and the editor reads the news reporters and work and decide what will be in the paper. If there are mistakes, the editor will change some words and sometimes the editor says, hold the front page. This means a story is very good and will appear on the front page instead of something else. That's very exciting for the reporters who wrote it. The story on the next page was written by a young reporter as front page news. Alright, let's read the news. Right, the Blackdown Daily News, lucky to be alive. Right, that this guy, as you can see, I think it's pretty sure he's in a hospital, and he's very lucky to be alive. And how did it happen? Let's get to know it. Well, a father and daughter saved the life of an injured climber yesterday. Their quick action prevented a terrible disaster, said Bill Day of the search and rescue team. The young girl, the Jenny Brown, found a phone that saved the climber's life. Jenny Brown and her father were walking in Blackdown Hills yesterday. They found the rock climber, Joe Carver, lying at the bottom of the Blackdown cliff. Jenny said, "We haven't got mobile phones, so we couldn't call anyone." The man was unconscious and he had bad injury. While her father was putting a blanket over the man, the Jenny noticed the mobile phone under his body. When she pulled it from under him, she realized that it was connected to the search and rescue team. The team leader, Bill Day, said, "The Joe Carver phoned us, but then he suddenly stopped speaking. We didn't know where he was. We waited for a long time, then we heard a Jenny's voice." The rescue helicopter went straight to the cliffs and picked up the climber. The pilot, Fred Hall, said, "I have been in the rescue team for 20 years and then Joe Carver is the luckiest man I know." Snow was starting to fall and he almost died of cold. Last night, Joe Carver was recovering in the hospital and he said, "I have climbed the mountain since 2001 and I never fallen before, but I won't climb alone the next time." Alright guys, now we have read interesting news about Joe Carver, former climber who went to the mountain to climb alone, and he was found by the two passengers, the father and daughter, okay, and they saved his life basically. And now he's recovering at the hospital, and now he's really thankful, and he decided that not to climb the mountains alone for the next time. Xo'p, demak, bu yerda ajoyib demak ota va demak qiz climber. Demak, toqqa tirmashib chiqadigan odamni hayotini demak saqlab qolganligi demak ma'lum bo'lmoqda. Va u demak keyingi safar toq cho'qqisiga chiqmoqchi bo'lgan vaqtda demak nima qilishga emas, o'zi demak yakka sayr qilishga demak qaror qabul qildi. Xo'p, endi nima qilamiz? Xo'p, demak keling, agarda ya'ni mustahkamlash uchun xo'p ba'zi bir vocabulary, ya'ni so'z boyligi va shu bilan bir qatorda readingni umumiy ma'nosini yana bir marta tushunib chiqamiz. Chunki keyingi mashqimiz mana shu reading bo'yicha bo'ladi. All right, dear students, now we are going to have an exercise about reading. But before we do that, I would like to ask you to read the text again one more time to understand the whole contents. And also, if you have some vocabulary which are unfamiliar, please get to know them. All right, my clever students, if you guys are ready, so I think we can start the reading exercises. All right, here we are in reading exercise number 1. Okay, it says reading comprehension and vocabulary. The first one, read this sentence and write a true or false. Right, the first one, if the statements are true, if the sentences are true, we have to write the true. If they are giving another or contradicting the idea, then we have to give a false. The first one, birinchi savolimiz, demak 2000 years ago, newspapers traveled slowly. Is that true or false? Of course it's false, because 2000 years ago, not newspapers, but news traveled slowly. Next, the Chinese government wore silk. That's wrong. Chinese government wrote on silk. That means answer is false. Number 3, uchinchisi, the first newspaper appeared in Germany. Well, that's the truth, because in the text, it was written that the first newspaper really appeared in Germany. Number 4, the 400 years ago, newspapers were printed every day. Is that true? If you guys are sure, so you can say it's true. If you guys are not, I would like to ask you to go back once again to the reading and find out the answer. Demak, haqiqatda javobini bilsangiz, demak bilishingiz mumkin, yoki ikkilayotgan bo'lsangiz, demak yana matnga qaytishingiz mumkin bo'ladi. Demak, buning javobi it is wrong, ya'ni false. And why is it false? Because 400 years ago, newspapers were printed every week, but not every day. Next, number 5. Sometimes there is a separate magazine inside a newspaper. And that's true, because in the text it was proven that sometimes there is a separate magazine inside the newspaper too. Question number 6. The reporter decides what will go in the paper. Do you think is that true or false? Right, your students' answer is false. Why? Because not the reporters, but editors decided what will go in the paper. Question number 7, all right. The Jenny Brown and her father were walking in the black downhills the last week. So we just read about the news about the guy who was saved by the 2 passengers. And do you think they were going the black downhills in the last week? I don't think so. So answer is false. Because chunki Jenny Brown bilan and her father were walking in the black downhills. What? Yesterday, but not the last week. Demak, kecha edi, o'tgan hafta emas. Answer is demak false bo'ladi. 8. Jenny used her phone to speak to the search and rescue team. Is that true? That's obviously false, because Jenny and her father didn't have a mobile phone. That's why they used Carver's. Answer is demak false bo'ladi. Jenny used Carver's phone to speak to the search and team rescue, because she didn't have the phone. Number 9, helicopter took the injured man to hospital. That's true, because they took Joe Carver, to the hospital. And the last one, Joe Carver has fallen several times before. Well, he said in the last sentence in the reading, and answer is, barakallah, answer is false. Yani, Joe Carver said that he had never fallen before. Xo'p, mana endi demak siz bilan bir qator true false'ni ko'rib oldik va ikkinchi mashqimizga o'tsak ham bo'ladi. Exercise number 2. Talk about the answer to the questions. Demak, mana shu savollarga javobni demak aytib yoki maslahatlashib ko'ramiz. Birinchi, endi bu yerda bizda 4 ta savol berilgan. We have 4 different type of question and you can answer based on your own opinion. Demak, javobni o'zingiz demak berishingiz mumkin bo'ladi. Birinchisi, right, how many newspaper can you name? if you are really interested in newspaper, you should know some of them. Agar haqiqatda gazetaga qiziqadigan bo'lsangiz, demak, bir nechasini sanab o'tishingiz mumkin. For example, in Uzbekistan, one of the most common one is like online, the newspapers are kun.uz. Demak, O'zbekistonda eng mashhur demak online gazetalardan biri bu, demak, yangilardan biri bu nima? Albatta kun.uz gazetasi. All right. Number second, okay, do you ever look at the sports page in newspaper? For example, in the newspaper, there's a lot of the front page, there's a lot of titles and different, let's say, news happens. Demak, har xil yangiliklar bo'ladi va shularning orasidan demak siz sport yangiligiga qiziqasizmi? Well, obviously, most of the people in the world are really interested in the football or tennis or basketball. So, for example, in my case, so I'm really interested in football, so I love to watch when I'm reading the newspaper all the time. Hop, meni o'zim shaxsiy hayotimda esa, misol uchun men har bitta gazeta onlaynda demak o'qiyotgan vaqtimda, hop, albatta futbol haqida qandaydir ma'lumot bo'lsa ham olishga harakat qilaman. Endi bu birinchi va ikkinchi savolga javobni esa o'zingiz fikringiz haqida berib ko'rishingiz mumkin bo'ladi. Xo'p, agarda ma'qul kelgan bo'lsa, albatta videoni bir necha minutga to'xtatishingiz mumkin va javobni o'rtog'ingiz bilan yoki bo'lmasa men bilan ulashishingiz mumkin bo'ladi. Xo'p, ana endi 3-savolga o'tamiz. Xo'p, question number 3. Which word do you think describes Jenny best and why? A, brave, B, clever, and C is kind. For example, Jenny we just read on a text, hozirgi tekstda o'qidik matnda, u demak toqqa chiqayotgan demak yo'lovchini hayotini saqlab qolgan qiz. Va bu qizni demak qaysi demak sifat bilan tasvirlagan bo'lardingiz? A, brave, dovyurakmi? B, clever, aqllikmi? yoki C, kind, mehribonmi? For example, in my case, I would say she's a brave and at the same time she's a clever as well. Demak, men keladigan bo'lsak, men A bilan B varianti demak ikkalasidan olgan bo'lardim. Va meni fikrimcha she's a really brave because she wasn't afraid of the watching the man who is in a faint. Demak, hushdan ketgan odamni ko'rishga qo'rqmagan, yosh bo'lishiga qaramasdan va she found a mobile phone and immediately contacted with rescue team va telefonni topib darhol ravishda demak qutqaruvchilar bilan bog'lanishga muvaffaq bo'lgan. Right, and I would like to ask about your own opinion va sizda esa qanaqa? If you want, you can talk about she's only clever or if you say she's a brave or even kind. Bu endi o'zingizga bog'liq bo'ladi. Number 4, the last one. Why do you think the Joe Carver said, I won't climb alone the next time? So, right, and answer is, can be like the variety of answers you can give to me. Menga har xil javoblar berishingiz mumkin. Demak, nima uchun endi u keyingi safar o'zim yolg'iz chiqmayman deb aytgan? Xo'p, balki qo'rqqandir. Balki xavfsizlik choralaridandir. Balki oldida kimdir bo'lishi kerakligini tushungandir. Xo'p, demak javobingizni demak ingliz tilida berishni unutmang, okay? Right. Right guys, xo'p, mana demak do'stlar, demak 3-mashqimizga ham yetib keldik. 3-mashqda demak we have to choose the best word to complete the sentence. For example, we have a different vocabulary like mistake, search, magazine, editor, decide, and rescue, and we have to match them from 1 to 6 ga to'g'ri qo'yib chiqishimiz kerak bo'ladi. The first sentence is Ben's favorite magazine is all about planes. Number 2, a helicopter went to the rescue the sailor from the sinking ship. Number 3, Anna decided to join the basketball club. Number 4, the mom lost her ring and we had to, right, search for it everywhere. Number 5, the editor put a news story about the fire on the front page. And number 6, obviously, as you know, always correct a mistake when you notice it. Xo'p, mana qadrli studentlar, demak siz bilan reading, ya'ni matnimizni ko'rib chiqdik va shu bilan bir qatorda u bilan bog'liq bo'lgan mashqlarni ham tugatib chiqdik. Ana endi demak grammatik demak sahifamizga o'tsak ham bo'ladi deb o'ylayman. Here we are in grammar. Demak biz grammatik sahifamizga yetib keldik. Xo'p, bu yerda we will be talking about today for and since. Demak bugun sizlar bilan biz for and since haqida gaplashamiz. Ya'ni for and since bu present perfectni demak vaqt qo'shimchalari hisoblanadi. Xo'p, birinchi o'rinda demak mana bu birinchi mashqni ko'rib, demak o'qib chiqamiz. Look and read deb yozilgan. Birinchisi. Right, I have been in the rescue for team for 20 years. I have lived in black down for 30 years. Men qutqaruv demak jamoasida 20 yildan beri bo'lganman. Xo'p, 20 yil bo'lganman. Va ikkinchisi esa I have lived in Blackdown for 30 years. Men Blackdownda demak 30 yil davomida yashaganman. Ikkinchisi Joe Carver has climbed the mountain since 2001. Demak Joe Carver demak tog'ga demak 2001-yildan beri chiqib keladi. Ikkinchisi he has been in hospital since yesterday evening. Kecha kechqurundan beri u demak qayerda? Kasalxonada. Endi sizda savol tug'ilishi mumkin. Xo'p, for bilan since ni farqi nimada? Xo'p, present perfect demak grammatikamizda bizlar juda ham mashhur, ya'ni mana shu ikkita vaqt qo'shimchalari for bilan since. For bilan since ni asosiy farqi for qanchadir muddatga beriladi, ya'ni uni aniq vaqti bo'lmaydi. Ya'ni for 20 years, 20 yildan buyon. For 5 days, 5 kundan buyon. For 3 hours, 3 soatdan buyon. Demak biz aynan qachon boshlanayotganini bilmaymiz. 20 yil ekanligini bilamiz. 5 kun ekanligini bilamiz. 3 soat ekanligini bilamiz, lekin aynan qachon boshlanganini bilmaymiz. Aynan qachon muddatdan boshlanganini berish uchun biz since dan foydalanamiz. Misol uchun for 20 years, 20 yildan buyon. Aynan qaysi yildan? For misol uchun since 2000, 2020-yildan. Ikkinchisi I have been working for 5 days. 5 kundan beri ishlayapman, lekin aynan qaysi kundan? I have been working since Monday. Dushanba kundan beri. I have been studying 3 hours. 3 soatdan beri o'qiyapman. O'sha 3 soat qachon boshlangan? I have been studying since 1 p.m. Soat 1dan beri demak o'qiyapman. Mana ko'rib turganingizdek, demak for mobaynida aniq boshlanish nuqtasi yo'q, lekin necha yildan beri, necha kundan, necha soatdan beri bo'lganini bildirib turadi. Since esa aniq vaqti bo'ladi. Xo'p, mana qadrli studentlar, demak bugun sizlar bilan ajoyib demak matnni, ya'ni gazeta, ya'ni yangiliklar haqida gaplashdik. Mana shu bilan bir qatorda biz grammatik mavzuni ham ko'rib chiqdik. Xo'p, ingliz tilini o'rganishni to'xtatmang va keyingi darslarda sizlar bilan ko'rishguncha.